Hey folks, welcome back. This is Gigi and this is episode 4. We're going to be talking about dreams. You know, we're never too old to dream, whether you're 40, 50, 60, 70, or 80, because if we stop dreaming, I think we stop living. What do you think? Let's talk about that. We're moving like a wolf pack, feel the bass attack. We're moving like a wolf pack, feel the bass. I came across a couple of videos that I saw earlier this week. One was, the channel is two different channels. One channel is Dana Finewell, and the other one is Old Me Living Better. Old Me Living Better is an older guy. I think he's like in his 70s or 80s. And he just started his YouTube channel not too long ago. I can't remember why, but what he was talking about in his channel that I was just struck by was too old to dream. And I was like, what? And then Dana's subject matter that she was talking about was doing hard things after 50. And I was like, excuse me, stop the presses. What the heck are you people talking about? Too old to dream. I commented on Mr. Old Me Living Better site and said, as long as you're still breathing, you can still dream. And on Dana, Gigi just had to say something. I said, doing hard things? What do you mean doing hard things? It's like, I started my channel after I retired, so I was already in my 60s. I love to travel, went back to school. I will be going back to school in September. I love photography. I'm helping my folks out. Now, get this. Gigi's getting into gardening. These are all things that I've done since I've retired. And I don't think they're hard things, but I'm thinking some people might consider them hard things. And to me, I feel like it's an opportunity to challenge yourself. Because I think Luna is messing with my cables back here. Luna, I can see the cables moving. Luna, getting a puppy? What was I thinking? Okay, Luna, you stay here. Yeah, it's okay. What was I thinking? But she's so cute. You know, that's everyday Luna. Anyway, I was struck by that because I started thinking, what do we call them? The different generations. Let me get it here, because I knew I was going to talk about this because I was just like blown away by the subject matter. I don't know, blown away, but yeah, I was kind of blown away. So because they classify me in the baby boomers. I don't feel like I'm a baby boomer, because now there's another generational subgroup, which called the Jones generation. I feel I'm part of the Jones generation. But let me tell you, the silent generation out there, the baby boomers, the Jones generation, Generation X, you folks out there in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, are you still dreaming? But you are. Because as long as you're taking a breath, you can dream. As long as you continue to move forward, you can dream. I think sometimes when we get older, sometimes it's harder for us to think of new things. Really? I'm thinking, I don't know. You know, I think it's easy to dream when you're younger. And the reason why, because, you know, you graduate from high school, you may go to college, you may go to vocational college, you may may get a job. You know, you get married, you start a family, you know, you continue moving forward in your career. Or you decide to stay home, you buy a house, you stay home with your kids. There's all these steps that call it life passages that you go through. And I think sometimes as we get older, we may not see many of those things that are still out there for us to get wrong. If there is something that you have not done, like I've always wanted to get a degree. I want to try to work towards getting a bachelor. If I could get my AA, I'd be pleased with that. I'm so close, so freaking close. You know, but I've always wanted to get a degree, because when I would tell people my story, I always say, I wish I'd gone to college. You know, and I'm thinking, just go to college. So I started. I may be taking one class at a time, but hey, I've heard many people in their 85, 90 years old, they're walking up there and picking up the degree. And it's for me. It's not for anybody else. Not like I'm going to go get a job. And anyway, I'm studying digital arts, which is what I'm doing here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what do you mean you're not dreaming? I think sometimes, you know, John Travolta had a quote. I'm going to put it on right here. John Travolta's quote. Because I think this speaks volumes to what I'm talking about. And he says, as you get older, you have to force yourself to have dreams. I was like, what? Because I think when you're younger, I think it's just easier. And I don't know if it's because really, is it easier, or is expectations of society that's been placed on us, expectation of our culture, of our family? What is it that we know we're supposed to do this, 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 and this? And then when you reach a certain stage, it's like, okay, now what? I was struck by that because the thing is, I enjoy learning new things. And one thing that I've always told myself, and I used to tell my boss this at the funeral home, every challenge is an opportunity. So I think sometimes as we get older, the biggest challenge we have is, well, one of them I'm thinking is our health, it's time, it's money, because there's no fluidity. There's seldom an opportunity to get that time back. You're not going to get that time back. Let's be real. That's gone. Lost. There's a short amount of time to get assets as far as financial gains back. Unless you're a whiz in the stock market, you ain't going to get that back. If you're living on a pension and Social Security, that's it. That's your baseline. It's not going to go any higher than that unless you go out and get another job. Now, let me tell you, I've thought about getting a job only because I did feel like we financially have to do it. Oh, I know what I can do if I got another job and what I would be doing and what we can do and where we can go. But it's like, do I really want to do that? I feel like I have the energy, and sometimes I really do want to do it, but then I stop and think, well, I don't know. Do I really want to do that? I'm still debating that one. That's still kind of swirling up in my head. I'm not quite sure about that one. So you have to think about that. But I do think, and I think also society, as we get older, sometimes we're pigeonholed that, okay, they send you off to the farm someplace, or out to Golden Acres, or to Golden Pond, or over the rainbow. And the thing is, people my age are not doing that anymore. They're more active, they're healthier, they're retiring earlier. They want to do something else. But what is it? Because I found, especially after I retired, I'm going into my third year. It's like, oh, do this. But then you got to get your routine. I feel like I'm still working on. I've gotten better. I think I'm halfway there in the routine. Because work made you get in a work routine. When you had a job, you had a routine. Because you knew, get up, do this, do that, do this, go here, go there, go there. You knew what you were going to do within the 24-hour framework. Because probably 12 hours of it was cut off, attached to the job in some way, getting ready for work, at work, getting home, whatever you have to do at home. So let's just say 12 hours, because most people work 8 hours. I'm just saying in general, most people work 8 hours a day. So then after the 12 hours, we're getting ready for work the next day, probably eating dinner and getting ready to go to bed. Unless you have kids, that might take you longer. But I think when you retire, you may not have kids in the house. You might have a dog. Sometimes like a kid. She's into mischief. And stay here, girl. So I think as you get older, it's up to you to kind of create what it is you want to do. It's up to you as where you're going to put your time at. And sometimes I think people can flail. That doesn't sound like the right word. Where they're just kind of like, they're just kind of like flailing. That's it. As to what to do, because it is different. It is hard. I worked since I was 14. There was a period of time, maybe 8 years, that I was able to be home with my kids. But all the time, I had some type of job. I was always working. In fact, when I was home with the kids, I did go to school, and eventually I went back to work. So even while I was home with the kids, I was still doing something. Look. Don't get me wrong, you working moms out there and you're home moms, you're stay-at-home moms. It's a hard job being both. I've been both. Been there, done that. Not sure I want to do that again. But I will forever appreciate that I had the opportunity to be able to stay home with my kids. Because really, I felt that was my responsibility, and their dad felt that it was his responsibility as well. But when he got hurt, our roles completely shifted. And now I went to work and he stayed home. So I don't want to say fortunate that we never had to put our kids in daycare, because if it wasn't for the fact that he got hurt, I would have still been home. Anyway, it's a whole I'll have to get into that another time. But anyway, I just know not everybody can do that, be able to stay home. But I also believe those are based on choices. We all have choices. And I think as we get older, we may feel like our choices are limited. They're not. They're only limited by what you do. They're only limited by what you see. They're only limited by the limitations you put on yourself. So if you want to be 65, 75 freaking years old and you want to go jump out of a plane, not that I want to jump out of a plane, go do that. If you want to go cruise to Alaska or take a cruise to Europe or a flight to Paris, do that. What's holding me back? Now, I know time and money can hold us back, but if you have the opportunity, don't let anybody or anyone or anything hold you back from doing what you're doing, especially if it's your dream. Create new dreams. Don't be afraid. If you're still breathing, you're still walking around, you can still dream. I'm just saying, do not let age determine how big your dream is. Hey, do you like that? Wait a minute. Wait, hold the presses. But I think that's a Gigi quote. In fact, I'm going to put that. Here we go, folks. Do not let your age determine how big your dream is. Gigi, that's Gigi. I think I might like that better than John Travolta's thing. John Travolta's quote. I like John Travolta, but I think that quote's bigger and better. But really, folks, don't let your age determine how big your dream is. Because now is really the opportunity to dream the biggest. You may not have kids in the house. Maybe it's just you, for whatever reason. Don't let your situation or don't let anybody else determine how big your dream is, especially your age. I'm talking to, again, the silent generation, the baby boomers, the Jones generation, and Generation X. Do not let your age determine how big your dream is. And that's by Gigi. I'm just saying. And I think that was such a solid quote. I'm going to have to end on that. Well, I'm quite proud of myself. See? Well, folks, I think that is it for now. But think about that. Are you still dreaming? You're 40, 50, 60, 70, 80-year-olds? Continue on. Move on. Continue dreaming. Don't let anything hold you back. Okay? All right. That's it for today. You working stiffs out there? Tits up? Gigi's got your back out there? And one more time. Do not let your age determine how big your dream is. That's a Gigi quote. Okay, guys? Folks, don't forget that, right? Okay, until next time, I'll be dropping some shorts as me and my mom are traveling along the way. I'll be transferring some money this weekend. This will be, today's Wednesday. I'll be uploading it Sunday, but I will be back. And until then, you folks, tits up. Hang tough. Salute.
So turn the lights on. It's what we're here for. We're moving like a wolf pack. Feel the bass attack. Feelings growing strong. So turn the lights on.